The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Councillor Vexithal of the Zephyrian Dominion rose from his crystalline seat. His 4 arms spread wide in a gesture meant to command attention, while his chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the chambers. Bioluminescent lighting. The massive alien's compound eyes fixed on the small delegation of humans seated in the newcomers section. "These mammals," he began, his voice a resonant bass that made the chamber's walls vibrate, "dare to request membership in our ancient alliance? They've barely mastered faster-than-light travel, and their homeworld still suffers from primitive conflicts. Ambassador Sarah Chen, leader of Earth's diplomatic mission, remained seated despite the obvious provocation. Her dark eyes studied Vexthal with the calm intensity of someone who had faced down corporate boardrooms and military tribunals alike. Beside her, Dr. Marcus Webb and Captain Torres maintained equally composed expressions. "The Zephyrian Dominion," Vexthal continued, now directing his attention to the other council members, "has observed these humans for 3 of their solar cycles. They are a violent, unpredictable species. Just yesterday, their military vessels conducted war games near the Proxima station, despite our explicit warnings about aggressive displays." A low murmur rippled through the council chamber. The Altarian representative's tentacles writhed nervously, while the silicon-based crystalline collective's delegate chimed discordantly. Ambassador Chen finally stood, her modest height of 1.7 meters dwarfed by most of the alien delegates. "Councillor Vexthal," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics. "Those war games you reference were actually rescue drills. We were practicing emergency evacuations after the mining accident on Kepler 442b. Vexthal's mandibles clicked dismissively. "Rescue drills that required 30 heavily armed vessels and enough firepower to level a small moon?" His compound eyes glittered with what his species considered amusement. "Perhaps humans think the council consists of fools." The tension in the chamber thickened. Several council members shifted uncomfortably, recognizing the dangerous edge in Vexthal's tone. The Zephyrian military was among the most feared in the galaxy, their bioships capable of devastating entire systems. "No, Counselor," Chen replied evenly. "We think the Council consists of beings intelligent enough to verify facts before making accusations." She activated her holographic display, showing detailed logs of the rescue operation. "The heavily armed vessels you mentioned were equipped with industrial cutting tools and medical facilities. The firepower was actually emergency power generators for the evacuation ships." Dr. Webb stepped forward, adding quietly, "We saved 47,000 miners from 17 different species, including 300 Zephyrians from your outer colonies." Vexthal's exoskeleton darkened, a sign of anger among his kind. "Irrelevant. The fact remains that humans are too primitive, too aggressive for council membership. Perhaps in another 1,000 cycles, when you've learned proper respect for your betters." The last phrase hung in the air like a challenge. Captain Torres's hand instinctively moved toward his sidearm before Ambassador Chen's slight gesture stopped him. "Councillor Vexthal," Chen said, her diplomatic smile never wavering, "we appreciate your perspective. However, I should mention that our primitive species has been monitoring this conversation through quantum-entangled communication arrays we established throughout this system 6 months ago." Several council members straightened in alarm. Such technology was supposedly beyond human capability. "Furthermore," Chen continued, "our aggressive military vessels you're so concerned about, they're currently providing escort services for 3 Zephyrian trade convoys that requested protection from the Void Stalkers plaguing the Andromeda trade routes. Vexthal's 4 arms trembled with rage. Impossible! No species develops such capabilities so quickly without stealing technology or perhaps, interrupted the elderly voice of High Counselor Zenthon, the ancient leader of the ethereal communion. You've underestimated them, old friend. The chamber fell silent again as Zenthon's translucent form shimmered into solidity. His species rarely intervened directly in council proceedings, preferring to observe from higher dimensional planes. 3 days ago, Zenthon continued, Zephyrian High Command requested emergency assistance when their primary fleet was overwhelmed by Void Stalkers near the Galactic Rim. Human forces responded within 6 hours, traveling a distance that should have taken 3 days. They not only repelled the attack but captured several Void Stalker vessels intact, something no military force has accomplished in living memory. Vexthal's compound eyes widened in shock. That's classified information, as is the fact, Dr. Webb interjected smoothly, that our analysis of the captured vessels revealed they were using modified Zephyrian bioship technology that could only have been acquired through inside cooperation. The implications hit the chamber like a shockwave. Gasps and alarmed chittering echoed from various delegates as they realized what the humans were suggesting. Zenthon's form pulsed with what might have been approval. It seems, Counselor Vexthal, that while you were busy intimidating our guests, some members of your own government were secretly selling military secrets to the very enemies threatening galactic peace. Vexthal's exoskeleton cracked audibly as he deflated, understanding dawning in his compound eyes. The humans hadn't just defended themselves against his intimidation, they'd exposed a conspiracy that could destroy his political career and potentially destabilize his entire planet's government. Ambassador Chen stepped forward, extending a datapad. We've prepared a complete report on the conspiracy, including financial records and communication logs. Consider it humanity's first contribution to galactic security. As Vexthal stared at the damning evidence, High Counselor Zenthon's voice resonated through the chamber, all in favor of granting immediate council membership to the Human Federation. The vote was unanimous. Even Vexthal, politically cornered and facing disgrace, raised one trembling arm in agreement. Later, as the human delegation departed, Captain Torres whispered to Ambassador Chen, "Think he learned his lesson about intimidating humans?" Chen smiled grimly. "His planet certainly will when this scandal breaks tomorrow. Never underestimate a species that turned the enemy of my enemy is my friend into an art form." Behind them, the Galactic Council chamber buzzed with the realization that the galaxy's newest members had just demonstrated why humanity's reputation for turning disadvantages into victories was more than mere legend.